president is here. Vice President, he is sick. Yes. Treasurer is on his way. Commissioner.
Commissioner here.
Softball commissioner.
Here.
Secretary.
Present.
Member at large Glenn.
On his way.
On his way. All right. Did everybody take a look at the minutes?
Yes.
So did I. Everything looked in order. Steve, you got them right?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes from November.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, did we forget? Let me make another motion to accept October minutes.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, presidents and vice presidents report. I want to do it all together. We are. Okay. Equipment. We are in the process of working on the equipment room. Myself and Dave Mancuso and Kyle. We moved every piece of paperwork, secretarial stuff out of there. It's all upstairs now. The only two pieces of paper down there are now our umpire reports, game logs. That is it. Everything else is going to be locked up under there. We're having a whole new ball return system, so baseballs and softballs stop disappearing. And we are putting new locks on all the two big drawers on that cabinet, and the opening big door is all going to be locked. The big door is going to be a bucket there's going to be a ball slot that goes in there, so any return balls go in that. So we can either recycle them, we can use them again for games, or we can use them for evaluations and stuff like that. There will be new locks on where we keep all the expensive equipment and the excess balls and everything. That key will not be given out to very many people. There will be stock inside the countertop cabinet for baseballs always, but all the excess stuff, that key will not be on the concessions / field director keychain. Just the one for the countertop. Let's see, wood bat tournament. Still, I'll be taking care of the permit tomorrow. I'll go see Steve. I will also do the permit for opening night. Tournament, I'm getting a lot of calls on it, so usually I start getting all the commitments, a month out. And I'll start hounding everybody heavily. So
Remind them that they can register online and pay online for
yes. If you can keep blasting that to teams over social media, just whatever you can possibly do. If you
it.
can,
Last night during our workshop.
if you can even go on to southfloridatravel.com on the south.
Put it on their Facebook page. I don't know how to I can't get it on their website unless they put it on their website.
Yeah, but there's a lot of emails on there.
Okay.
You can just start looking at emails and
Okay.
maybe go that route too.
Okay.
Especially the younger divisions. We want to hit those 10U, 8U, 11U, 12U, all them.
Okay.
Just hit them hard. That's about all I got. Pretty simple. This is the slowest time of the year. I know we're going to start getting cranked up, and January is going to be a big meeting to get going for the season. So let's enjoy our Christmas and be ready for it. Commissioner's report. We'll wait on Keith.
Commissioner's report. fall's done. Just basically what we talked about yesterday at the workshop. No real rule changes or anything. I think we're keeping everything the same that what we voted in last spring, right? As far as that, I don't have anything new. I'll start, I've been keeping in touch with everyone, all the DDs and managers, keeping them informed of the workshop and everything. I'll start reaching out, letting know get an idea who's coming back next season. Keep that line of communication open. What's been on my mind is just, with the travel teams coming in and figuring out who's going to be managing and whatnot, and, the numbers coming in, but definitely excited for next season. Other than that, I don't really have anything new to report. Those are just things that I'll be preparing for, and we'll already have that. Hopefully all the DDs return. I would like to keep everybody for next season to have that continuity. Other than that, that's about it.
Thank you, Miguel. Secretary's report.
But we're just gonna skip me. It's fine.
Thank you for that fine report, Melissa.
You're welcome.
A softball commissioner.
Oh, thank you. After the workshop last night, we had discussed umpires for softball. I reached out to my contact at Royal Palm Beach High School. He's one of the coaches, and he's actually doing conditioning with some of the girls. And he's already said that he knows quite a few of them have asked him in the past about doing it. So I may have softball umpires for us with high school softball players, and himself would like to also be an umpire.
Cool. They have no problem. It's not going to interfere with their spring season.
We're gonna, because more than likely softball will be moving back to Farron, with the hopes that the village, since we did our walkthrough, is able to get everything up and running for us by the spring season. I'm hoping. Then it shouldn't be an issue. We can kind of work our games around their schedule, because we won't be handcuffed to just Monday, Thursday nights. We can do games. If they have games Monday, we can do our games on Tuesday now instead, or something like that. So we won't be as restricted on what days we can play. So.
Sounds like a lot of fun for practice schedules.
Yeah. Well, it should be a lot easier since it'll just be softball.
Will they be able to provide their schedule like ahead of time?
Yes, he should have the schedule. He said they start their season mid-February, so they should have it by the beginning of January. So it's way before we even start our schedule. So hopefully.
Awesome.
He said he already knows 4 or 5 girls that are definitely interested in being umpires for us.
Good stuff.
Yes.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Awesome. Steve, would you like to do your report first so he can set up?
Got nothing.
Okay. Whenever you're ready, big guy. Thanks.
And 5 hours of my work today. I did not do work, so I get to make that up tonight. Alright, so, with the first page should be like, this is what I tried to do was, so our costs for like the fall season, right? Advertising, Babe Ruth dues, the background checks are higher like in spring because that's kind of when everyone came, so I just took like half of them. Baseball and softball equipment. I think for the whole year we spent $700 on clinics, so I took half. I just estimated a field director. I took half the insurance, half of our opening night costs since we have two a year. Half of like a scheduling fee, So per schedule, per season, an estimated trophy cost, estimated umpires, uniforms, which is that's the amount we spent uniforms in fall. That's pretty much the amount we spent on umpires, and then an estimate for the village fees. It comes up 46,000, and we had 349 players. Now, granted, I know some don't pay. Little kids don't pay as much. Umpires in higher leagues cost more. I get that, but so the average cost of players $133. And I think we're pretty close to that. And then when we get if we do that, plus we get the $350 a team, then that's like an extra 10 grand or depending how many teams we have. I always estimate like 30 teams, and then that's 10,500 in the sponsorship fees. The next two sets of staple pages. So this is the concession income and expenses. It's the stupid copier cut the top off, but so from June to
Turn your mic on, Keith.
November.
It's on.
From June to November. I'm not a loud dude, man. So you can kind of look. So for June, for example, if you look on the where it says concession income, for June was $2,365. Expenses was $4,266. Now, I'm thinking that's during the Willows Bash. And then in July, you can see there was $100, but then we had, $2,340 of expenses, and that Amy Braswell. Now, granted, maybe she didn't. I'm trying to think if she just didn't cash a check, why we were still paying her in July. When was the Willows Bash? What days?
It was the last week of June.
So it was the last full week of June, because there was a full week and then a half a week. Okay, so June makes sense, and I guess the beginning of July makes sense. Okay, so that makes sense. So then in August, that's kind of when we started signing up. So concession really isn't open then. The concession's open, but we're just kind of doing registration. People are not really there buying. We're not cooking, hot dogs, hamburgers, stuff like that, So, and then I'm assuming in August is when they kind of started ramping up. So, not crazy expenses in August, $900. That $314.50. See, this is one of my problems is that could be registration, that could be part of a sponsorship check. There's no way for me to know. Coming up this next season, just to make to be more precise, you're just gonna have to, I try not to be, we're gonna have to be mean to people. Whoever's taking it, you have to do it a certain way, and that's it.
I know you weren't able to come to the workshop last night, but we're getting a new POS system, and it's literally going to do registration, deposit, not deposits, but there's a button you can click to pay umpires. There's a button you can click to do registration. Everything will be done through this computer system, and no money will come out of that register or go into that register without it being logged. And it's even got a camera to see who's doing the transaction.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean,
that'll help you a lot.
And it'll be a printed report for every night.
Yeah.
Everything goes in and out of that computer. So
That'll make it a lot easier,
mean,
and it goes to the cloud too, so you can look at it at home.
Okay.
And that'll make it a lot easier for you, I feel, that way you'll see, okay, this $100 was a registration fee, not a concession fee.
yeah, I mean, for example, if you look on August, August 29th at $314.50 was just a deposit in the bank account. I don't know what it was. Was the concession stand open that day? Was that 2 registration fees? Did someone pay $50 in 03? I mean, so if now.
It very well could have been still all-star stuff that I was
who knows?
getting to. So,
I agree.
I mean, there's
so,
no telling.
So hopefully, like you said, if we do that, then the people and whoever's doing it actually, does it correctly, which hopefully they will. Then the one thing I I don't think I had the report on me, but in a little bit, I'll tell you in a little bit. So right now in our system, like for concession fees, when I was adding it up, concession fee was spelled about 8 different ways. And so there was 8 different concession fees. Whoever was, and I was like, anyway, so that was one thing I was thinking in the future, but we won't be using that anymore, hopefully, so it won't matter. Okay, I'll explain it when we get to it. So September was, I think our opening ceremony was like September, 27th, 28th, something like that.
It was early, wasn't it? 20.
I thought it was like the last weekend. Okay, yeah, it's possible. So, I'll tell you right here. It was the 27th. Because
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
because I had taken out all the ones, I had taken out a bunch of
Birthday
stuff.
weekend, I forgot.
You can see, and then I deposited it back the next day. But anyway, so that's probably when we're kind of ramping up doing stuff. So that was just practices, no games. And so for that month, we had 3,000 in income and 4,000 in expenses, which that would make sense. We're probably kind of catching up for the season, buying extra hamburgers, hot dogs, whatever. So now October would be, our games and everything. That's when we should be pretty busy, probably our busiest month. And we had 7,993 in income and 7,707 in expenses. So that's like right at pretty much even. And I do know that in October 2 Saturdays got rained out. That's what's terrible is if the Saturday gets rained out, that's
our
the day
money
we
day.
should make our most money. And then, Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, you got $500 a night umpire fees, and you made no money Saturday. It's so those kill us. So I know we had 2 of those. But also on the 2 Saturdays that were open, I think I said last time was just oddly low. I went back and looked in spring, and $2,000 was normal cash on a Saturday, 500 credit cards. This was spring of 19. So Megan was working, it wasn't windy. And correct, right? Megan was working spring, right? Wendy left, okay. And then, like I said, we had the 2 Saturdays we were open in October. One day we did 300 cash. One day we did 600 cash. On the 300 cash day, I think we did 400 or 500 credit cards. On the 600, we did like 500 credit cards. So just incredibly low days. Why? I don't have an answer for that. So at the end of October, we had the 2 Saturdays, and then there's a couple other things which I'll show you in a minute. But anyway, so then November. So now November, that was when I had started. I started working in there, so there was no one else in there but just like me, Megan, or Jenny. We started not buying anything and using everything that was there. So we weren't buying anything extra, stuff like that. And you can see, I think we made an income 4,800 and only had like 28 in expenses. So, but again, we weren't buying anything unless we absolutely had to. So anyway, so that's that. Now the other thing I remember last time was when I looked up, so the next 2, like the stapled page, and then there's like just a single sheet. It says on the top left, fall 2019 players registration income, and then it's so on the top. So this is the fall 2019 summary. So this is like from the reports I pulled, and this is 100% good. So we had 35,790 in baseball fees. And then we had, so if you go across, that's kind of the way they gave it to me, so I just kind of put it like that, and I summarize it below. Then we had 4,500 in discounts. So normally, if you look, it says early bird, second family, third family. I don't know how many brothers or sisters there are. I don't know. I thought I saw a fourth one at one point. They're quadruplets. I don't know. But anyway, so the coupon discount's usually not there. The early bird, the second family, and the third family, that's normal in the past. So, you know, we gave an extra 3,800 in discounts, which I'm not saying is bad, whatever, just that's not a normal season. 8,225 in concession deposits, 756 in credit card fees, 1,827 in non-res fees. I don't know what transferred. It was $121. I'm assuming maybe they signed up for like 8U and their kid was in 10U, and there was a difference. I don't know.
There was a kid that was in 15U that unfortunately couldn't play in the fall, but still wanted to play in the spring, so he was transferred from.
There was 2 or 3. It wasn't one. It was like $60, $260, whatever. It wasn't just one thing. I don't think. But anyway,
that's the only transfer I know of.
What, do you remember? Was it how much? Was it $60, or do you remember? You don't know.
And it was more than $60 because it was.
Maybe it was only one. I could be wrong. Then a late fee, which I found odd that there was late fees being charged, and still getting an early bird discount. I mean, I don't know. I found that odd. An admin adjustment. That's what's on there. I can't tell what that is. Then, so the refunds, that is someone that signed up and then canceled before the end of the billing period. So we had $41,009 in total sales. Now our total payments, either because of fees or refunds, whatever, was supposed to be $40,000, $792.50. Now if you look at this, the one that's stapled, you go to this is all the fall income from April to November, and it was $39,907. So it's like a difference of $800. Like a timing difference. Maybe we're getting that. Maybe it's not crazy. You know, I was thinking it was like 12 grand, but and you can even kind of look, like if you look here. So on the left, you know, April 1st to May 1st. The deposit was $375. That's exactly how much was sold, $375. May 2007.33. We had 2006.16 was our total payment. So there's like little timing differences here and there. The next month, deposit the bank account was $1,511. They said it was $1,768. So now we're kind of catching up because the prior month we got more in the bank account than what they said. So, you know, it's actually pretty close. Like I said, so 39,907.40, so it's like $800. Maybe that's 2 of those days that are in the concession stand, but it's not the glaring like 12 grand that I did not see, you know, last time being deposited. But anyway, so now so the next, just a single page. So, you know, at the last board meeting, I was kind of worried, like how low we were. So we had 3,500 in sponsorship checks that had not been deposited. So normally 4,500 in discounts, 500 average, so 4,000 that we normally would not have. There was a complete electrical. The only thing I could think is that was to install the cameras, our Cooperstown deposit, and the slushing machine. Just stuff that we don't always buy.
The slushing machine was free.
Is that not the product?
I think that's a product.
Well, I remember leaving a cash or check for somebody. Maybe I could be wrong.
Just for product.
Oh, okay. So, but what I'm saying is, say we had the sponsorship checks deposited, we didn't do the discount, didn't do Cooperstown, there would have been no, you know, hey, I'm worried. And then also during this year, our dues, which I printed out, which is the next page, the dues and subscriptions, they went up almost like, I think in 2018 it was only like $1,500, and that was almost $5,600. The increase in the background checks, we'd never done the clinics before.
We didn't have to pay for the clinics in the fall. That was from the spring.
Correct, agreed, yeah, but I'm just saying.
I was able to get away with
Yeah,
that
yeah.
because of the.
But what I'm saying is that's still money during the year that, the camera system and the deep fryer. So that's all I'm saying is that's an extra $7,000 that isn't a normal everyday expense that, that we did spend. It's fine. I'm just saying,
I know this was during Chris Birch's presidency, but we spent $2,000 on those 2 cameras.
Number one, I think
I don't remember voting on spending $2,000 on a camera.
here's one thing I could think is we spent 1985 and then paid. So this complete electrical, I have no clue what that is. Locksmiths, I dealt with everything. I don't know. So I'm assuming that 674 was to install it, and no one knows. None of us. No, we got to figure out how to use it.
When did the cameras go in?
Before you guys were on the board.
I know, but
I have no idea.
February.
I'm complete electrical, and I never received a check for $675. That's my company.
Well, could we've been reimbursing you? Maybe was that like a reimbursement for like the oh my gosh, if your wife did like that ring toss and stuff back, would
Yes, you're right.
would that have made sense?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, okay. All right. Well then. Okay. Well, so
But it
that's.
wasn't made out to me.
That would have been made out to Lexi
Yeah, it was,
King.
all those, remember you made one. All of them are made out to Lexi.
I mean, I go by the bank statement. I have no clue it's your company, or I would have said something to you. So it has to say it on the check. I don't know. I'll double check. I'll look. But that's weird that that's there because I had no clue that was your company until you just said so. So I wouldn't just made that up.
Unless that's not talking about complete electrical solutions, it's talking about complete electrical being paid to get it wired, the camera system to be wired in.
That's what I'm saying. I think we paid complete.
Somebody.
we don't know like the month or date.
No.
This was done?
I know that
It was
this.
done in the
I
spring.
know that this was
sometime. I
done
have no
like
idea what time.
the 674 was done right after the camera system. Like
I can guarantee you with Chris Birch here, I wouldn't have made it.
Do we have the receipt for the invoice for it?
100% no. I don't. I mean, you know what? I'll double check, but I don't remember ever. I mean, that's like a big thing. I remember getting anything
Should be
like.
able to see the check though. You get a
No,
copy.
yeah. No. I can see the check. But what I'm saying is for the invoice.
Like an invoice, if there was an
Yeah.
invoice, it would have, if that labor was included in that price.
Yeah, like I said, I know like when I deal with a locksmith or what, we always get a little invoice. I don't remember one for that complete electrical, but that don't mean there wasn't one. That was almost a year ago. That I'm not going to.
I'm,
Can I ask one more question before we go too far? Sponsorship checks not deposited, that just is unaccountable?
No. They were like, they were just in an envelope and we just hadn't deposited them yet.
I
That was
found
it.
a
That was
couple
it.
of them that I had just forgotten to
So they're
deposit.
accounted for now?
Yeah. My biggest concern is this camera system. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it now. Obviously, it's already there and it's already been bought, but we can go to Costco and get 30 cameras and it's all wireless and everything for like $200.
Well,
Like, this is freaking me out a little bit that we
no,
spent
no, no.
$2,000 on a camera
And I'll
system.
tell you why, because my
You
mom.
get what you pay for, you gotta be careful.
Well, I'll tell you, my mom thinks I can do anything, so I'm in the process of installing her cameras, and they ain't cheap. It's crazy hard. So it's believe me, you think you can buy them for $500, but then they are going to charge you $100 for each camera to install it. It's not crazy. It's not cheap. And there
Installed a lot of them.
and there is like
You get what you pay for, really.
and there is 3 or 4 screens up top. I've seen them.
No, I've seen,
yeah.
there's one computer screen up there that
And,
you can see the 4.
And I know there's two cameras in the concession stand. There's one in the equipment room. That's all I know of. Oh, upstairs there's got to be at least one.
There's a monitor upstairs.
Yes, yeah. There's like 2 or 3 monitors upstairs. There's at least 3 or 4 cameras. But none of us know how to get up. I've only been upstairs one night when the one over the when the one was on over the register, and I was always curious like what you could see, and that was the only time. But we don't know how to log on to it. We don't know anything about it.
You don't know how to log, does anybody know how to log on to that monitor?
Yes.
Well, the monitor's there, but
It's easy. It's upstairs.
But what I'm saying, but there's a way where we can see it on our phone is what I'm.
Oh, I don't
Yeah,
know.
there's an app you can
But
get.
none of us,
I mean, I got-
let's say that's what we don't know how to do is to see it like on our phone or whatever. All right.
I believe the boxes are all up there, and I saw the boxes up there, and the manuals up there. I'm sure it tells you how to do it.
But I know, because I remember he was saying that it mainly depended on the Wi-Fi, if you could look on your phone. But anyway, so then the next two are just through November are profit and loss and balance sheet. So, but anyway, and there you go.
Thank you, Keith.
Yeah, man.
Are we?
Go ahead.
Are we better or worse, or since you figured everything out now than we were last time?
I think we're better, and I also think like doing the concession stand help because like next season, just from talking, like I think we can run it. I think we can run it more efficiently, just like getting inventory and stuff like that. Maybe every Saturday go and look, get this stuff just keep track of it better.
We'll talk about that real quick on the financial workshop that we had last. No, we did talk about that last night, and
So now, as for cash flow, like I said, now I do feel better knowing like we gave that much in discounts, that we had those checks sitting there. I mean, that right there is $7,000 that I just at the last time was like, what the, where is it, So, I feel better about it. And like I said, I actually think us having to kind of not step up, but just help out with the concession stand to kind of see what was going on, I think ended up helping us, will help us in the future. But that's what's that. And we made it through the season. We paid all the,
we have not paid all the bills.
well, what I'm saying is like, what I'm saying is,
Last two bills, remember we were worried about? Are we still worried about them?
Yes. Well, we're gonna pay them here shortly because we have registrations coming in,
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I'm gonna get them off I want to get them off the books as soon as possible. So
but we don't owe, what I'm saying, I know, like honestly, the oh my gosh, the trophies, we usually don't pay those. And not saying it's right, but we usually don't pay them until January. They don't
he hasn't even sent me an invoice on it yet.
they don't ever, if you didn't like take it to them, they would never collect. So what I'm saying is that's not odd, and then we owe them their fees, which is like $1,800, and that's not a problem.
We're not in a horrible world.
We don't owe, all employees are paid. We have we're, other than the fees and the trophies, which is not odd for, where we're at right now is normal. And we don't owe, the employees are paid, there's umpires are paid, we're good to go.
Good job, Keith. Thank you.
We're good. The biggest thing, and let me make a motion to vote in all the reports from this evening.
Great job, Keith.
All in favor?
Aye.
No?
Aye.
Aye.
We do have one other bill that is gonna be due fairly soon. We have to re-charter.
How much is that usually?
I have no idea.
Oh, you know what? I have to put up, but that was one thing I was curious, and you would know is, I printed out that one that says due. Like, why this year? And I'm just wondering if we like double paid something or did we?
Well, you pay your dues, and then you got to pay your all-star stuff. That might be.
Yeah, because like I said, last year I think our total was like $1,500. Now it's like 56. Now I didn't know because we paid like this Rotary Sportsplex like 3 times, USSSA.
Those are the-
sleeves, SF Travel League, JTA.
Okay, so
And maybe we're
what
supposed to.
paper is
I'm
that?
just
So I
saying.
can tell you what they are. So
Because the
the
prior year we
sleeves
didn't do it.
USSA is, was headbands for the girls all-star team
Okay, so
because
it's-
we don't get
so it's uniform?
hats.
Okay,
So
okay,
we got
all right,
those. The USSA was a tournament that the boys get, a tournament paid for as part of their fees. So that was one of our tournaments.
Gotcha.
The Babe Ruth was, we have to pay for all the teams to do their thing.
That one's normal. The Babe Ruth is okay.
The Rotary Sports Complex, those are, I'm almost 1,000% sure. That's the Ocala tournament
Okay,
and the
okay.
Lake City
All right.
tournaments that they go to. or the LLC is the LCCC is Lake City. The Rotary is Ocala, which was 10U and
All that though, but it doesn't matter because all that money comes back
right. That was that
through the
literally
All-Star
all of this,
fees.
except for I don't know what GM dealer is, but all of this
Well,
looks like it's
that GM
the
is-
All-Star stuff.
Well, see, so just if you look at the profit and loss, now and unless, believe me, unless there's some of that money might be different, but it looked like it, you know, now that if I add that, so let's just say that's $2,000. It cost us $16,663 in All-Star expenses. So I add that, we're at 18, just say 18.5. And we only brought in 15.9, so that's $2,500 that we're just losing.
Well, I know that we added one extra tournament to Ed Case's.
All that should have been covered.
Well,
It all should have been. So I don't know why there's such a big gap. We definitely need to look into that, and that honestly cannot
also have
happen
a lot of
again.
hats that were ordered that we haven't sold too.
and
So
there's
there's that expense, and
Yeah.
that's probably close to $1,000, if not more, right there.
like if you look at the bottom, I took our
Which
donation-
was done by some.
like what I did was this: I took our reimbursements because I have those. It was 19,000, right? So I know if we're reimbursing somebody, we had 19,000 deposit. So I did that. So then I took all our other All-Star registration, which is obvious because the time of year it's in. So that was like 16,000 of income. But then with uniforms, hats, travel fees, blah blah blah, I said we were out of pocket. Now that I know that these aren't like, you know, Babe Ruth dues. Now these are tournaments
That's
and stuff.
All-Stars.
So it's gonna, like I said, it'll be about $2,500 costing us to do All Stars. But for the, you know, just for the
But we have
future
to,
to know.
chartering is different than All-Stars. Chartering is we have. in
That's
order
your
to-
rec league.
Yeah, it's our rec league
Okay.
fee.
So now, so if we,
I can go on there and figure out how much it costs,
I
and
mean,
then.
2,500. If we had 4 or 5 teams and we're doing a $300 tournament,
Well, no, yeah, this is our rec league. We have to charter our rec league, not All-Stars.
okay.
Our rec league. We have to send
So
them our
with
rosters and
2,500, the
everything.
difference makes sense. Maybe I just have it in the wrong expense account. I don't.
I honestly don't even
Okay.
have the first clue
Okay,
what it would
okay.
be cost, what it would cost. But like I said, I can call Grace, who is our contact at Babe Ruth tomorrow, and find out how much it costs to charter and when we have to have that in by. So that way we know.
If I'm not mistaken, it was due in February, sometime in February last year,
Okay,
if I remember correctly. So it does give us some time.
okay.
We'll have all the registrations.
And also just in February, so we're gonna have that. It'll be like $5,500 for insurance.
How much? 5,500.
Last year was 58, 53, and it's a year, and we usually pay in February. So just that's something that will be coming up. We should have the money. I'm just saying that
Okay, as far as All-Stars, as far as the All-Stars go, we collect money from All-Star players and parents for them to play All-Stars.
correct.
$185 each kid.
Oh, what is it?
$185 per kid.
And
Softball was cheaper because we did less than you guys.
and we collected all that money, and we still came up short the 20, because that should.
Maybe not. Maybe I have it in the wrong expense account. It's very possible. Now that I'm talking, now that I'm understanding what it is.
And I know that some of the teams paid less because they used their own shirts and their own jerseys and all that. Was all that tracked and everything?
I think a lot more has to do with the hats, to be honest.
There's 2 boxes of hats sitting up in Field 5 concession stand
Like if you
that were
look,
ordered
like if you look,
by
I actually had it.
old board members.
I had it
I
separated.
believe Chris Birch ordered them.
It wasn't Lex though, right?
No.
We spent 11.5 on uniforms, which included hats, and 51.50 in paying our tournaments. Now maybe some of that money should go there, but that's 100%. 11,513 we paid to Scotties. I had that separated for All Star, and I had our tournament when we would pay for their entry fees. So, like I said,
I think one of those boxes is actually would have been Ed Case's had he worn our jerseys. So they would have paid for those hats.
Well, looks like we have a head start on our hats for All-Star season this year. We just have to be. We have.
I mean, I think honestly, people will buy them if we put.
Well,
bring them down.
we can use them for All Stars this year. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll use them RPB hats, just the way it should be anyway. Predators uniforms, RPB hats.
Yeah.
And also, just this year, I think we saved like $4,000 though we did good on the equipment, like baseballs. That was one thing last year was like over $9,000. This year we're like,
Yeah, because I got them for $8 less a case.
I know,
I mean, a dozen, so that adds up big time.
5,980, and then last year was over. That was there's a couple of things where I noticed where we saved or we spent extra, and that was one of the ones I noticed was the equipments went way down.
Okay, real quick, little business financial workshop last night. Other than what we just talked about, which is great, I'm glad we got all those numbers. Biggest thing we talked about last night was the concession stand. Honestly, I mean, and it just needs to be run more efficient. We need to take advantage of the hours. Everything that you just said is what we talked about last night. The new POS system is going to be a huge help. We talked about filling out an application with Cheney Brothers. I can get food delivered to where I work, and I can just drop it off at the concession stand, and I should be able to get my prices that I get at work through them. So it should help. Also, looking at the product itself. Using a good 6-ounce burger, I believe, is might be a choice we can use for, especially since those burgers the 8-ounce burgers, they don't even fit on the bun. They're so big. I use 6-ounce burgers for a private school, and I love them. They're perfect size. I don't understand. They cook quicker. We can use them at our concession stand. So they're just as good. It should be a huge money saver, but also the time of having that thing. We have to have that thing open at nighttime at 5:30.
Yeah, I agree.
Hot, ready to go at 5:30.
Yeah.
Not missing out on those parents that are rushing to the field and need to feed their kids real quick. All that stuff.
But you don't like it.
Saturday mornings is another one.
Yeah.
I used to. In the spring, I was coming in early and doing breakfast sandwiches every morning, and I used to sell 15, 20 of them. Had them ready to go, and people would buy them like hotcakes. This is, we could start advertising, sending out league emails. Hey, come get our hot breakfast in the morning, or come try our chicken tender platter Wednesday night. We just got to start, utilizing, our website. We can send out all that stuff. We can put it on Facebook. Like we just got to start grinding again. And everybody, helping out, because like I said, I'm only coaching in the spring. I'm not umpiring. I'm going to be there as much as I possibly can to help out. I think everybody's going to step up. Everybody was willing to step up and help everything run smoothly on it.
Megan had started doing coffee, which I thought was a great idea. She had brought a coffee pot. If we did not fancy espresso drinks, but like did Cuban coffee too, that might be a good draw. Yeah.
If this is, if we can, let's start reaching out to people. If we can get some stuff donated, like an espresso machine or,
Yeah. Speaking of,
but remember, there's only so much electricity in that concession stand. There's only so much.
We also talked last night about the FDs, the board
Yes.
members. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. No, you can tell me.
The board members and the DDs doing the FD, so we don't pay that $25 a night or $50 on Saturdays, and we just set up a rotation just like it used to be. And there's 12 of us. We didn't even count you, because if you're going to be focusing on concession, that's fine. I would rather not have you in the FD.
Well, I'll be honest, like for the 2 or 3 weeks when I did concession, I think, if we made a little stand in the concession to hold the baseballs and stuff, I think they could just come there and do it.
Well, we don't have to mix it up like that. It's not paid anyway, so we can leave it in the equipment room. You understand? You can leave it.
And I hear you and I agree, but I just remember, I just have a feeling that when we do that, a lot of people start not showing up because of not being paid, which is fine. But what I'm saying is, if you get a whole week of someone not showing up, and you know, I'm just thinking ahead where because the last 3 weeks I did the FD myself, or me or Megan did the FD, and I kept the sheets and everything right there in the concession stand. So if we just kept the baseballs there and just did it all out of there, I don't know. Like I guess
I think that works during the week.
It might work during the fall. It's
Okay.
not. It's
You
gonna
know-
be harder in the spring. I'm telling
during the
you.
week, you're right.
It works during the week because, you know, like I said, when the umpires, they can come by and pick up, they know what they get. They're getting their baseballs, and that takes 2 seconds. But when the thing is they want to be paid is when it, you know, by the time those games over, people aren't coming in the concession stand. They should be able to go over to that new POS system, hit that umpire pay, bam, 8U umpire pay, hit the button, take the cash out.
Oh, I agree 100%.
Right on.
The problem is you can't have the FD working in the concession stand. Because
This is
if you
where
have issues.
no. I'm saying we don't even need the FD to do that.
Yeah.
The FD is really there. I'm looking at eliminating the position completely. Okay, if there's an issue with the game, like I said, I'm coaching, he's coaching, you're gonna be there a lot, your kid's playing, you're there, your kid's playing. If there's an issue, just come get one of us.
I'm on that too.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I don't, you know, most of these umpires are pretty good, you know, baseball wise, and they know.
The last game there was something crazy, and I'm like, no matter who I am, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna change an umpire's call. Period.
You can't,
I'm just not.
even as an FD.
That's what I'm saying.
you can't.
Like so people, go Keith. This. I'm like, I'm not changing an umpire's call.
Rules.
I'm just not.
The only thing the FD does is goes on the field
Oh,
and
no, okay, yeah, I
facilitates
agree,
the
I agree,
rules.
I agree with the
They
rule, yeah,
cannot
yeah.
change an umpire's call. An
Agreed,
umpire
agreed.
is the king of the diamond.
Agreed.
Period.
You can never change a judgment call.
No.
But in case if they do the rule wrong, that's where the FD.
Well, and that was the one where there was like he called him, and the umpire was wrong on that one. It was like he called him out. It wasn't a force at first.
It was like the
And he
8U
went
game that I
home.
was at.
Yes, and it was yes.
Now, just out of curiosity, you just said it. Maybe I'm misunderstanding it, but like the umpire will just walk up to like the cash register, and we're hoping he only takes out the amount.
No,
that-
No.
Okay. All right.
It'll basically be a computer screen like the one in
The
front of
person
us.
working in the concession stand hands the money to the umpire, and they document it on that machine. You know, they hit that like I said, it says a 10U game. Hey, 10U plate. And they hit that button and they take the cash out. 10U field. Boom. Here you go.
And then that way there's no confusion on if someone was paid, it's all
And it-
What you
right
gotta do
there.
is make sure there's enough money in there.
Yes, and it goes on that nightly report.
And the nightly report, you hit a button, and it spits it out. It's all categorized and everything.
Yeah, it spits out the papers like you gave us. It literally gives you that, and then you can. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to double check with Todd, but I am pretty sure that it can communicate with QuickBooks, so you can just literally
Yeah. I
do
got you.
the XL, XS, whatever it. You know what I'm talking about? It into the QuickBooks system that we have. So it pretty much idiot proofs your all the stuff that you've been doing 5 hours at work today.
All right, so that's pretty much covers the financial workshop last night. The baseball workshop I thought was pretty good. A couple people came. We went through all the divisions. There was really nothing to vote on except for 15U, the must play in 15U. I would actually like to just put a pause on that, and we'll go into detailed depth about it at our next board meeting, because there's some language in there that I want to talk about, but we're running out of time. I want to.
That's still before the season, so.
Yes. Yeah. So, we'll put a concession stand. We've discussed all that. I just put a few things on here about spring registration. We need really, you know, I know we're going into Christmas, but we need to put a game plan in together for January on, you know, pumping out stuff and getting into schools and all that stuff. So I don't know if you guys want to meet again at some point or just do it over the phone and figure out what we're going to do. As far as I know, that young lady that was there last night said she can get into some of those schools. So if she can guarantee that, we'll make the flyers for it. But if not, I'm not wasting the money on it. So, I mean,
Which ones? I
Yeah.
called them all and I got them into the schools I could.
Yeah.
So, as of right now, speaking of spring registration, we have 54 people registered, 18 in T-ball alone and 10 rookies, 7
Awesome.
minors, 6 majors, 3 Babe Ruth, 5 8U softball, 1 6U, 1 14U, and 3 12U. And then,
Hey, it's a new company took that over, and
yes.
I've been,
It's-
I've been
it's-
fighting with them because now I can't look up anything from fall anymore. It's gone. Think.
I archived
Oh,
it.
well, anyway, I've been fighting these people
I said it last night. I said I archived everything in fall.
If there's an issue, just call Amy.
Thank God, like, I downloaded this stuff, like, in November, and it was still in my downloads on my computer, and I got to rerun all the reports, but, oh, yeah, I've been
Yeah,
fighting.
anytime you
for the
have a
last 2 days, I've
problem
been
with
fighting
this,
these
just text
people.
me and say, hey, Amy, this isn't working, and I can unarchive it for you. Because it just makes the scheduling and registration easier if I archive it.
They told me to go and unclick this thing, and I did. It said, like, so anything, anyway, but it
Yeah.
still didn't work, but all right. Yeah.
That's because I archived it. Sorry.
So also, we did officially do the $5 increase on all divisions.
I was thinking, what if, I think we talked about, I know it might not be just get it in your head. Should we get rid of the concession fee and just add it to the dues? And parents can't make it back, we cover it. I don't know.
I mean, they don't really come in.
It seems like,
I say I like giving them the opportunity to get their money back if they, I just think this is part of keeping records too with this machine, knowing, okay, this team was supposed to show up tonight. They had 11 parents, or we need to know how, like, actually some people don't, not everybody pays the concession fee, but say the 10U Cardinals showed up, they have 11 paid concession fees, only 2 concession fees came to work concession stand. Okay, so we gave out that $50, but we also have an excess of, 9 concession fees in there, or whatever the balance is.
I didn't realize until I did that thing today that like 8,500 of our fees were concession fees.
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
Yes.
anyways,
So I would like to keep track of that.
yeah.
With the price increase, we did vote on that through the email thing. You should have it because you were CC'd, like, on all of them. Okay. I lost my train of thought, sorry. Oh, on Blue Sombrero, because we have payment plans, without interrupting their payment plans, I'm not able to add it. I'm still waiting on Blue Sombrero to call me back.
How many payment plans are there?
There's quite a
There's about half of the people that have
Then-
registered are on a payment plan.
So 25 people, we bite the $5 on
No,
them?
no. If I add the $5, it will kick their payment.
Well, I don't
plan.
want, I'm saying just leave it the way it is.
Right, but I can't add the $5 to anybody. Because
Even
if
the new ones?
I add $5, it automatically turns off every payment plan. So I'm trying to work with Blue Sombrero now to figure out how to.
I bet you're gonna have to make like a separate program, like pre-sign
I might
up
have to
and-
close that fall.
Yep,
And then
yep.
start a new,
Spring.
or
Yep,
close
yep,
that spring.
yep. I guarantee you, which is
Well,
fine.
I can't close it though because they still have,
First of the year, I closed on that day.
yeah, but they're still paying until February 1st.
Yeah, but I
can't-
think if you close a program, from what I've seen, is I think they'll still be able to pay, but if someone else signs up on the new spring 20, whatever.
I don't know if
Yeah,
I
I
can
can-
open a new one. I'm gonna have to play with it tomorrow.
Okay.
I might have to open a new spring and transfer them
Okay.
to the new spring with the new amount. And somehow figure out how to leave their amount alone because
Yeah.
they've already got it
Give them a
split
$5
up,
credit or something, whatever. Yeah, we can figure it out.
something.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then, go ahead, because when you get to walk updates.
Okay, that's what I want to talk, that's the last.
The walk updates I did put on our website, January 13th through the 18th, because I knew I physically was available, so I knew I could do those dates. We can always add more,
Okay,
but I just knew because of Girl Scout cookie season and stuff, I was physically available that week.
okay,
So I knew at least that week we could do it.
perfect.
So if anybody else wants to do it a different week or different day, something like that, whatever. But I think 1 week of walk-up registrations, because there were so many times we just sat there and twiddled our thumbs. Like, if we just give them 1 week, this is your week, come up and do it. If not, just pay online.
I think the week before
Majority of them
tryouts.
that we had anyway, for people who were coming from the discount, they had to come to walk
Yeah.
up because of the discount, not because they would have registered at home.
Yeah. So I think 1 week is sufficient.
Okay.
We put our signs out for that week and just call it a day. If not, they can pay online. It's not
Or they'll all pay on
at register.
at eval there.
Which they're gonna do that. If they're
Exactly,
eval
they're gonna do
payers,
that
they're gonna
anyway.
do that
You're right.
anyways.
Okay.
So
All right.
I approve.
I would like to make a motion to close this meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.